Ren from Hallowed Be Thy Game, and today we're talking about 10 games on Steam that you can't buy anymore. Let's check it out. Welcome back to another episode of Hallowed Be Thy Game, and today we're talking about 10 delisted Steam games. Now, I have Danik here with me.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for coming in with your Steam expertise. And we got some weird games and some weird situations to talk about that have led to these games not being able to be purchased anymore on Steam, and I was very sad to see Platinum is on this list.
Several times, in fact, yeah. But anyways, there's quite a few. We just narrowed it down to 10 for today. But with that, let's get to the first one. Number 10, Streets of Kamurocho. Okay, this is an extremely unique game with some very fascinating things about it, but could you go ahead and kind of fill us in on what this game is? Yeah, in 2020, there was a Sega publisher sale happening on Steam, and that weekend they had published this Streets of Kamurocho game for free for the weekend. Anybody could download it and play it, and it was a reskin of Streets of Rage 2's first level. There wasn't anything after that, it was just the first level on loop. Once you beat the final boss, you went right back to the beginning of the first stage, and it just kept going. But it was kind of neat, it was free, a promotion of Yakuza games on Steam. I believe Like a Dragon had just come out, it was probably on sale.
Well, what's interesting about this to me is just how clean and sharp it looks. I mean, it looks like a legitimate effort, like somebody put some decent time into this. So
I'm not sure if it was made by the Yakuza developers or if it was somebody else, but it was just a very clean looking love letter. They had the restaurants, some of the locations from the game were done in 16-bit. It was very neat.
Well, like, I love Dragon Quest XI, and it's like 16-bit look. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing a full-fledged game of this, of Yakuza. But again, I'm new to the series. I need to play it and get into it, but this looks fantastic.
This was a very nice love letter for free, and it may have helped market the game to someone like me.
Number 9, Transformers Devastation. And at last we come to
the first of a few Platinum titles we have here.
This is so weird that Platinum is on this list so much, but I guess all their licensed games just kind of got the ban hammer from Steam. But
I believe all of these games were published through Activision. Perhaps some deals were made for some Saturday morning cartoons, I suppose.
Yeah. And honestly, this has Platinum all over it. It looks fantastic. It looks flashy as all get out. The transformation animations are on point. And it has that Platinum adrenaline-fueled combat, which I'm a sucker for if you've watched anything on this channel.
I played this shortly after I finished Metal Gear Rising, which we both love.
Oh my god.
And it was more Platinum goodness. Yeah. You beat up a bunch of dudes in an area, transformed into a car, drove to the next area, plowed into the enemy, and was off to another fight. It was fantastic.
What can be bad?
It was a very short game, but it did have the entire cast from the original television show that I watched as a kid with my brother.
Yeah, all the same voice actors from the show. I mean, honestly, like, everybody nerds out when you play like Arkham Asylum and you hear Batman.
Yeah.
The same Saturday morning Batman, so heck yeah.
It was a love letter to the old cartoon.
Yeah. Number 8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan. Well, what's interesting to me here is obviously I haven't played these games, but this one doesn't appear to be well received at all.
Agreed. I did not play this one like the Transformers one because I didn't hear as much good about it. I don't know what it was. I also know the art style didn't appeal to my nostalgia for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like Transformers did. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah. Well, like, 3-4 months ago, you couldn't convince me Platinum had a bad game, but Babylon's Fall just came out. And
correct.
That's kind of a famous dumpster fire right now, so.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, I believe, also was multiplayer.
Oh.
Perhaps predating Babylon's Fall in a multiplayer aspect for Platinum.
There's a correlation.
Maybe there's a correlation of multiplayer and Platinum games.
One is a fluke. 2 might be a pattern. Number 7, The Legend of Korra. And this is the last Platinum Games video game we have on the list, and this one looks sick. Holy moly.
This looks fantastic. I also haven't played this. I've never seen the show. Only briefly aware of it through advertisements and such.
Right.
But this game looks awesome.
Oh my god. Like, I'm into anime, but like old school anime, and my brothers were mega into this whole series. But one thing that really stuck out to me is just the combat animations. They definitely have that weight to combat, which I'm a huge fan of. And honestly, I think this one and Transformers are one that I really want to check out if I can pick up a copy of them on whatever platform they're still available on.
I believe there's physical copies. They were the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation.
Okay.
I assume all three of these games are delisted on all the platforms just for licensing reasons and such.
Right.
Thank God for the digital future, right?
Yeah, seriously. and people ask me why I'm into physical. Number 6, Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast.
One of the many sequels to Outrun, and this is one of the best racing games ever made.
This looks
is
so
fun.
I can see the excitement just exuding from you right now.
Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast is just a blast.
Really?
You start the game, you hit drop, just drive. You got some great tunes and some fast arcade racing. What isn't to love about this game? I love the music. It's on PSP. It's on Xbox 360.
Oh,
it's very difficult to find. It is wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know why this isn't on digital platforms. It's also very rare. I think the Xbox 360 version goes for $100 plus.
Really?
Outrun 2006 though is fantastic. I love that game.
So a must play.
A must.
Yeah,
if any fan of racing games, realistic, arcade, you have to play Outrun 2006.
Number 5, Poker Night at the Inventory 1 and 2. This was interesting to me to see that this was a Telltale game series.
Yeah, back before they seemed to have blown up with The Walking Dead,
Right.
We had humble beginnings with Poker Night at the Inventory. I assume, again, this is license reasons why the game isn't still with us and available. The first one, you had the Heavy from Team Fortress 2. You had Sam and Max make an appearance. You had Ash Williams make an appearance.
That's what blew me away. Is like I didn't even know because did he have a game or something they were pouring him in? Because it looked like this was just a collaboration of video game characters. I wonder if they ever did make or if Telltale made a game for it, or what it is that they were porting him in there to. Because the animations just. They definitely scream, this is a Telltale game. You can definitely see their fingerprints all over this. But it looked like it was just oozing with charm.
It was very much that time of the internet culture. Team Fortress 2 was an internet culture piece.
Right.
There was Strong Bad. When's the last time you heard of Strong Bad?
Oh my god, dude, that's true.
We just lost 10 years of our life thinking about it right
God.
now. It's
Seriously.
been a minute.
Yeah.
But Ash made it. I don't know if they. But it was one of those things. It was kind of just lightning in a bottle and one thing at a time. You've never seen it again since.
Because like it looks like it's essentially just a card game, but you're definitely playing it for the charm,
the personalities.
Yeah.
But that's just it. You're just playing poker.
Right.
There was no twist or subverting your expectations. It was a poker game.
You were the bad guy the whole time.
Correct.
Number 4, Radical Heights. This game fascinates me a lot because, for one, I had never heard of it, but you...
Oozing with the personality that I couldn't wait for. The first trailer for this dropped and I thought, a battle royale and Smash TV's personality? I'm in.
Yeah, right. Sign me up.
What a disaster.
Really?
This game was over and dead in a month.
Literally, we looked it up. April 18th to May 18th, the sucker was dead.
Hot on the heels of copying Fortnite, this was just a mess. It came out with a lot of Twitter fire and we're going to take it to Fortnite. They had just closed the game Lawbreakers. I never played Lawbreakers, I briefly heard about it. But that game shut down, they announced Radical Heights, released it the next day, closed in a month. A mess.
Speaking of Babylon's Fall, we can't give it the credit that it has outlasted.
It is still here.
Yeah.
You can still play
it. It lived longer than Radical Heights.
Radical Heights, though, the idea of a Battle Royale game show big prizes, 80s neon personality. I like, give me that game. I will play it.
It's so weird because, like, from what I saw, it looked fine. It looked like it had charm. It did look promising.
There was a lot there for me to like. Perhaps it was just never going to be in a company that was doomed to fail.
Number 3, Rocket League. This one surprised me.
One of my all-time favorite games. I've been playing it for years now, and a couple years ago, Epic actually bought the company who makes the game. They've since removed the game from the Steam store if you're a new user, but if you were someone who bought it years prior or before the buyout, you can still update and download and keep playing it, but anyone new has to get it from the Epic store. It stayed there for several years. Just company consolidations, we see it all the time these days. One of the victims of that. But it is nice that the game still works if you ever bought it. They never took anything away from you, and it's still completely supported.
Number 2, Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
A very underrated fighter, if you ask me.
Really?
There were a lot of mistakes made in respect to DLC. Capcom was in their infancy of trying to monetize games, and they really missed the boat on Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I think underneath the gems and the DLC was a great 2-on-2 fighting game. Maybe the Pandora's mode was a little silly, but that isn't what we're here to talk about. Introduced in the dark ages of mid-2000s PC gaming, we had Games for Windows Live, and that was a disaster before there were disasters. Games for Windows Live was a mess, and that was when Microsoft tried to introduce Xbox Live to the PC market. It works pretty well these days, but in the dark ages it was a disaster. A few years ago, Games for Windows Live was shut down, and some games, depending on their popularity, bothered to recode their network to let you keep playing them online. Despite me thinking Street Fighter Cross Tekken was a great fighting game, it just wasn't a success on console, and doubly so not a success on PC, triply so not a success because of Games for Windows Live. And when Games for Windows Live shut down, Capcom didn't see it necessary to port the game to Steamworks, as they did do with Ultra Street Fighter 4 later. The damage to Cross Tekken was done. I think it's unfortunate.
Number 1, The Last Remnant. This one is pretty interesting to me because it sounds like this was just removed because they remastered it.
Which I was not aware of until we talked about this.
Yeah, because we've seen something similar happen to this with like the Prepare to Die edition of Dark Souls, which we can go into more detail about that in a future video if there's interest. But this is a Square JRPG, and honestly, it looks fantastic. There's some interesting history about it, but
yeah, this looks very fun. I recall it coming out for Xbox 360. I believe the PC port followed soon thereafter. It was known for its very large-scale turn-based combat. I never played it, I don't know. I know it wasn't supposed to run very well, but I've seen a community of people say it's a very good game, an interesting story, great combat. It's supposed to be unique.
I really love the combat animations because they're flashy, they're over the top, they drip with style. That's right up my alley. This is definitely a game I'm actually looking to pick up on either the Switch or the PlayStation, just because I don't have a Steam Deck. But
once you mentioned it was released on Steam, I was surprised, and now I kind of want to check it out.
Right.
I don't know why the Steam version is delisted. Perhaps they just never released the remastered version and removed it when the remastered version came out. If you know, let us know in the comments.
Well, that wraps up our list of 10 games that you can't get anymore on Steam. Thank you so much for joining me today, Danny.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all so much for watching. Are there any games on this list that you've played that you thought were weird? Let people know down in the comments. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and we will see you all next time.